हेलो फ्रेंड्स, टारगेट 90 प्लस सीरीज़ में आज हम रेस्पिरेशन एंड सर्कुलेशन चैप्टर नंबर 8 ट्वेल्थ बायोलॉजी का देखेंगे, जिसका वेटेज 7 to 10 मार्क्स है बोर्ड के लिए। 1 mark questions. Name the cartilage which divide the nasal cavity into right and left nasal chamber. It is mesenteroid cartilage. Give the function of epiglottis. Prevents the entry of food particles into the respiratory system. Define total lung capacity. The maximum amount of air that the lungs can hold after maximum forceful inspiration. The capacity is approx 5200 to 5800 ml. What is oxygen dissociation curve? The relationship between HbO2 saturation and oxygen tension PpO2 is called oxygen dissociation curve. What is emphysema? It is a condition of breakdown of alveoli that leads to shortness of breath. Name occupational respiratory disorder. Silicosis, asbestosis. What is joint diastole? When both atria and ventricles are in relaxed condition and it lasts for 0.4 seconds. This is called joint diastole. Define bradycardia. It is the condition in which pulse rate is lower than normal, that is below 60 beats per minute. Tachycardia. It is the condition in which pulse rate is higher than normal, that is above 100 beats per minute. What is stroke volume? It is the amount of blood pumped by ventricles during each heartbeat, which is 70 ml. What is cardiac output? It means heart pumps about heart rate into stroke volume, approx 5 liters of blood per minute. This is called cardiac output. Section 2, 2-3 marks questions. Differentiate between artery and veins. डायग्राम भी आता है कभी कभी. ड्रॉ द डायग्राम ऑफ आर्टरी एंड वेन. तो यहाँ पे मैंने दोनों मेंशन किया है, डिफरेंस बिटवीन भी और डायग्राम भी. आर्टरी, they carry blood from heart to the all other parts, whereas veins, they carry blood from the parts of the body towards the heart. Arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary veins. They are present deep inside the body except radial, brachial, etc. They are present superficially. Lumen is narrow, lumen is wide. Valves are absent, valves are present. Difference between inspiration and expiration. Inspiration, air is inhaled. In expiration, air is exhaled. Diaphragm becomes flat and goes downward. Here, diaphragm becomes dome-shaped and pushed upward. The intercostal muscle contracts. Here, intercostal muscle relaxes. The rib cage and sternum moved upward and outward. The rib cage and sternum moves inward and downwards. This increases the thoracic volume, whereas expiration decreases the thoracic volume. Difference between open circulation and closed circulation. In open circulation, blood is circulated through the body cavities. In closed, blood is circulated through the blood vessels. Exchange of material takes place directly between the blood and cells. Here, exchange of material takes place through the intermediate fluid called lymph. The blood flows with low pressure, blood flows with high pressure. Blood do not contain respiratory pigment. Blood contains respiratory pigment. It does not transport respiratory gases, whereas closed circulation transport respiratory gases. Write a note on ECG. So, कभी कभी ये आपको ग्राफ देते हैं एंड दे आस्क यू टू लेबल द वेव्स, तो डायग्राम भी इम्पॉर्टेंट है. इट इज़ अ ग्राफिकल रिकॉर्डिंग ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिकल वेरिएशंस detected during their wave propagation through the heart wall. The instrument is called ECG machine. This machine detects, amplify the signals measured by electrode. There are 10 electrodes, out of which 4 are positioned at the arms and limbs and 6 are positioned at the chest. There are 3 waves in this graph. T wave, small and represent arterial systole. QRS, large, sharp, upright and ends downward. it represents ventricular systole. T wave, it is small, wide and upward, that represent ventricular diastole. Give functions of blood. It helps in transportation of nutrient, waste and respiratory gases. It maintains homeostasis. It help in protection from diseases. नेम द पल्स पॉइंट. तो यहाँ पे स्पेशली ये डायग्राम मैंने पूरा दिया है, बट आपको कभी कभी फेशियल, ब्राकियल एंड रेडियल पूछते हैं. नेम द पिगमेंट एंड एंजाइम प्रेजेंट इन एरिथ्रोसाइट. पिगमेंट hemoglobin, enzyme carbonic anhydrase. Define Bohr effect and Halden effect. Bohr effect, it is a shift of oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve due to change in ppCO2 of blood. Halden effect, due to oxyhemoglobin in the pH in the blood, pH of blood decreases and changes bicarbonate into H2O and CO2. Write a note on blood coagulation. It is the process of converting liquid blood into solid form. This process can be initiated by intrinsic or extrinsic pathway. There are total 12 clotting factors. These factors interact in cascade manner to produce thrombin from prothrombin. The active thrombin converts soluble fibrinogen into insoluble fibrin. This fibrin forms mesh where platelet and other blood cells are trapped in this and forms the blood clot. Define hypertension. Explain coronary artery disease and angina pectoris. Hypertension, it is a condition where BP is persistently high above than 140 by 90 mmHg. These are dangerous to heart, brain and kidneys. It may also cause brain hemorrhage and kidney failure. Coronary artery disease, it is caused due to deposition of calcium, cholesterol and fibrous tissues get deposited in the blood vessels, supplying blood to the heart muscles. This makes the lumen narrow. Angina pectoris or atherosclerosis, it is the chest pain due to decrease in blood supply to cardiac muscles due to atherosclerosis or arteriosclerosis. It shows pain and heaviness in the chest, neck, lower jaw, left arm and shoulder. Draw diagrammatic representation of cardiac cycle and explain the ventricular systole. The impulse from SA node reaches to the AV node to the bundle of His to Purkinje's fiber. The Purkinje fibers send impulse to all over the wall of ventricles, causing ventricular systole. During ventricular systole, the deoxygenated blood is pumped into the pulmonary trunk by right ventricles and left ventricle pump oxygenated blood into systemic aorta. The ventricular systole lasts for 0.3 seconds. During ventricular systole, both cuspid valves are closed and produce lump sound. With the help of diagram, explain the exchange of gases between alveoli and capillary. The wall of alveoli and capillaries are made up of simple squamous epithelial tissue. Together they form respiratory surface for exchange of gases. The gases diffuse from high partial pressure to low partial pressure. The ppCO2 of pulmonary capillary is 45 mmHg, whereas in alveoli it is 40 mmHg. Therefore, CO2 diffuses from capillaries to alveoli. The ppO2 of pulmonary capillaries is 40 mmHg, whereas in alveoli it is 104 mmHg. Therefore, oxygen diffuses from alveoli to capillaries. The diagram is given here. Very important diagram. Describe Hamburger's phenomena. The 70% of CO2 diffuses into the RBCs and combine with the cellular water to form carbonic acid. The rate of formation is faster because of carbonic anhydrase enzyme in the RBC. As carbonic acid is unstable, it immediately forms bicarbonate ion and H plus ion. The large amount of bicarbonate ions accumulate into the RBC and later it moves out from the RBC. The movement of bicarbonate ion causes imbalance of charge. To maintain this balance, chlorine minus ions from the plasma moves into the RBC. The movement of chlorine minus ions are called chloride shift or hamburger phenomenon. Write a note on Herring-Breuer's reflex. Inspiration causes expansion of lungs, gives signal to the stress receptors. Impulse is received by vagus nerve. Vagus nerve transfers the impulse to the expiratory center, which inhibits the impulse of inspiratory center and relaxes the muscle. This leads to expiration. In expiration, lungs are contracted, no stimulation of stress receptors, no inhibition of inspiratory center. New respiration begins. This is Herring-Breuer reflex. It controls the depth and rhythm of respiration. It also prevents the lung from excess expansion. What is blood pressure? Describe types of blood pressure and add a note on factors affecting blood pressure. तो ये 2-3 क्वेश्चन हैं जो मैंने कंबाइन किए हैं. The pressure exerted by blood on the wall of blood vessel is called as blood pressure. The pressure exerted on arteries during ventricular contraction is called systolic pressure. The pressure on arteries during ventricular relaxation is called diastolic pressure. The normal blood pressure is 120 by 80 mmHg. There are two types of blood pressure, hypertension and hypotension. Hypertension, when blood pressure is higher and above 140 by 90 mmHg. Hypotension, when BP is less than 90 by 60 mmHg. Factors affecting BP, loss of blood decreases the BP. BP is directly proportional to the viscosity of the blood. According to the age, it may change length and diameter of the blood vessels. Emotions, gender, vasoconstrictor and vasopressin also increases the BP. Sketch and label conducting system of heart and explain. So यहाँ पे आपको 4 लेबल important है. SA node, AV node, bundle of His and Purkinje's fiber. In a human heart is myogenic, it shows autorhythmicity. It generates own rhythm by specialized 4 nodal tissues. First, SA node, sinoatrial node, located at the upper right corner of atrium. It acts as pacemaker to generate waves of contraction. AV node, atrioventricular. It is located near the base of right atrium or inner arterial septum. It acts as pace setter. The bundle of His, they start from AV node and pass through the interventricular receptor. They form 2 branches. They transfer the wave to Purkinje fiber. These are fine branches of bundle of His that form network in ventricular wall. They spread the impulse to the ventricles for contraction. Write a note on erythrocytes. They are circular, biconcave and enucleated cells. They appear red due to presence of hemoglobin. The hemoglobin carry respiratory gases. The cytoplasm of RBC contain carbonic anhydrase. The lifespan of RBC is approx 120 days. They are produced in spleen and liver in fetus and in red bone marrow in adults. The process of formation is called erythropoiesis. The formation process requires erythropoietin that is produced by kidney. The old and worn out cells are destroyed in the spleen. The increased number of erythrocyte is called polycythemia, whereas decreased number of RBCs is called erythrocytopenia. Draw a neat label diagram of internal structure of human heart. So here the diagram is given. इसमें से आपको जितने ज़्यादा लेबल्स याद रहते हैं उतने अच्छे हैं. Draw the flowchart of double circulation. So here first you have to make the central part, right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. Then From the left side, you have to show dorsal aorta, body organs, superior and inferior vena cava, which are into the right atrium. And from right ventricles to pulmonary artery, lungs, pulmonary veins, and to the left atrium. Here, this question is very very important. Identify the leukocyte and give their functions. So यहाँ पे दो टाइप के ल्यूकोसाइट्स है, ग्रैनुलोसाइट्स एंड अग्रैनुलोसाइट्स. ग्रैनुलोसाइट्स में तीन सब टाइप्स, न्यूट्रोफिल, बेसोफिल, इओसिनोफिल्स. अग्रैनुलोसाइट्स में लिम्फोसाइट एंड मोनोसाइट. Functions are given. Neutrophil, phagocytosis to destroy damaged tissues, cells, microbes. Basophil, in allergic condition to secrete heparin, histamine and serotonin. Eosinophil, destroy antigen antibody complex. Lymphocyte, help in cell mediated immunity. Monocytes, phagocytosis to destroy damaged tissues, cells or microbes. Thank you.